friend, Congressman Reid Ribble, back there.
I will say this, this is an intriguing and uniquely frustrating and I would even say cynical experience that I'm going through. Ron probably experienced some of those same things. That was a pretty good speech for a bean counter. You guys need to know that Ron Johnson has done things in the Senate and have stood up for principle when no one else would. And I absolutely marvel at this man's courage. And he tried as a freshman to become part of the leadership over there. And the U.S. Senate is really, I mean, there is just centuries of tradition. And it's a stronghold of tradition. And Ron has been trying to go in there and break through that tradition on behalf of the citizens of this state and this country in a way that is absolutely astounding. And what he's done to distinguish himself over there is something that you make all of us proud and be proud. I'll just give you just a few brief anecdotes, and Ron, I'll take some questions. It was something else for me. I came out of the roofing world, and commercial roofing contractor, spent my whole life running my own company. And I'll tell you, it's a surreal experience to be on the floor of the United States House of Representatives to be sworn in. And one of the things they allow you to do is have children on the floor. So if you're 12 years or younger, you can be on the floor while we're in session. So I decided I would have my two grandsons with me. They're 5 and 7. Today they're 6 and 8. And my youngest grandson, his name is Benjamin. And Ben was getting a little antsy during the whole thing. And finally said, "Hey, Granddad, can I get some autographs?" I said, "Sure, I'll get some autographs." We got a piece of paper. We walked around. John Boehner signed his book, and Eric Cantor signed his book, and everybody was signing. He probably had 50 autographs. And we finally went and sat back down again, and he's looking at his piece of paper. So I said, "Ben, would you like Granddad to sign it?" And he looks up at me with this most perplexed look. He goes, "Not really." So I said, well, why does my Granddad to sign it? He said, "Well, I want real congressmen to sign it." And so, you know what? I'll tell you something. If I had to make a trade, Congressman or Granddad, I'll say Granddad every day. And then Sunday, how good is that? I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. And it's really for those two boys that I ran, because the future's in trouble. I'm not talking about bankrupting our country. That's exactly where we're at. I want to ask you a question. How many of you believe that the country that this generation of Americans are about to hand off to the next generation of Americans, it offers more prosperity, freedom, and liberty than the one that was handed off to you by your parents? How many of you believe this will be better? Okay, now stop right there. I want everyone to look around this room. There is not one single hand up. That's an astounding thing. That is, they're not what?
Can I ask you, who were you with?
That is an astounding thing.
We don't want any filming of this right now.
One
Well, you didn't ask me because I'm the chairman. You're supposed to ask me before you film something. You should have asked me. I'm the chairman of the Luncheon, and you got to ask me first before you film it. Okay? So put it away. Okay? Put it away. You're welcome to stay. Put it away. Okay? Fair enough?
They gave up and they were willing to give up everything. We got soldiers that literally dead across the fields of Europe, across the island, southern China Sea. Now they gave up their wealth and they gave up their very life so that this generation, my generation, had a brighter, more prosperous, free existence here in this country. And here we are. 50 years later, and I'm asking you the same question. What are you willing to do to make sure that the country we hand off to our children, to our grandchildren, is better, more prosperous, more free? Since we've all admitted here that we don't believe it will, you need to know, I need to know, what are you going to do? You see, in 1776, We cast off the shackles of a sovereign king, and we replace it with sovereign people. We replace that one head with the whole country. And we created a government, as Abraham Lincoln said, 5 or enough people. You are the sovereign. John, you're the sovereign. Oh, you're the sovereign. This is your country. It's not the president's country. He lets you take it. It's not his country. It's your country. Bill, it's your country. You are the sovereign of this country. And so you have a choice today, sitting in this chair today, to begin to write the next chapter, the next paragraph, the next book. So that 50 years from now, when some historian writes about us, when they tell and talk about the century and the generation of Americans in 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, when they write about us, they will write something about it. Will they say that we're the most greedy? Will they say that we're the generation of Americans that wanted everything but was unwilling to pay for it? Or will they say we're a generation of Americans that were up against the wall financially, that decided to take our country and turn it back around, that decided to live within its means, that decided to provide a future that was brighter, better, and more free for the next generation? That's our job. You know, I was given this card when I was sworn into office. Most of you have never seen a card like this. It's got my face on it. I apologize for that. But in the back, it says, Member of the United States Congress. It's got my name on it. And inside there's a little chip that when I put it in the machine, it records my vote. You know, I hardly ever get to vote on a perfect piece of legislation. Last year I only voted on one because it wasn't on the vote. But by the way, it was called cut, cap, and balance. I'm very proud of cut, cap, and balance, but that was not my idea. Cut, cap, and balance passed the United States House of Representatives, but you need to know that was Ron Johnson's idea. Ron Johnson and I met in March a year ago, and he was telling me about cut, cap, and balance. We took what he did and put it in the House of Representatives, and we passed it. So maybe I get to vote on some perfect legislation. We have another bill going through here in a little bit, but we're going to put a regulatory moratorium. And I want you to know, Senator Johnson and I have a companion piece of legislation, one working through the House, one working through the Senate, that put a regulatory moratorium on this country so that the government can no longer just oppress your businesses anymore. I have to give you a break, let you take some breath, and catch some air. That bill is scheduled for hearing and government oversight this coming week. And within the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll pass it through the House. So now you get a job. You get here to read the vote on that. Because we'll get it done over here. Yeah, I take all around really great ideas and get it done. But you know what? It should work that way. And I'll tell you what else it should work. You guys need to give Ron Johnson help, so that next year he can pass it to the Senate. We can send it to the president. That's what it's going to take. But I want to tell you, when I was given this card, what I was told. I was told this is not your card. It's not my card. Even though it's got my face on it, it's not my card. Here, this is your card. You know what? Tim, this is your card. Here, this is your card. It's not my card. It's got my face on it. I have the voice to go and put it in the machine. I'm merely the messenger in this equation. This card belongs to the 704,000 Americans that live in Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District. It is not mine. And I am there, and it's been given to me as a sacred trust that I will go to Washington, D.C. and speak for you. And I take that very seriously. There are nights it keeps me up at night as the weight of the responsibility of holding the card weighs down on me. Because I know that every single day I'm going to take votes that are imperfect. And there's good and bad. And I must decide, because you're trusting me, I must decide if there's enough good and I vote yes, or just enough bad and I vote no. So with every piece of legislation, I want you to take it very seriously. I know that this is your card. And more importantly, I know that this is your country. It's your country. I'm just a voice there. Ron's just a voice there. But this is your country. And so as you sit here the rest of the day, as you get ready for the elections in the fall,
You, all of you, please, ask yourself, search your soul. Search within everything that you have, and you ask, what am I willing to do? What phone call am I willing to make? What check am I willing to write? Which parade am I willing to walk in? Which sign will I put up? What will I do to make sure that the next generation of Americans is a country that's better than the one that our mom and dad gave us? Ladies and gentlemen, it is up to you. It is your country. You are the sovereign.